Good morning to everyone joining us for today's apprenticeship webinar. I am Lenora M. Bailey, Director of Manufacturing Programs for the Institute for Workforce Education, a division of St. Augustine College. I will be your moderator for this webinar, as well as your presenter. Today, we will be discussing the benefits of apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs. Before we begin, let's go over some procedural items. We will be recording this presentation, and I will be sending a link to all participants to review the recording or share with other colleagues. All of you, with the exception of the presenter, will be put on mute for the duration of the webinar, but you will be able to ask questions or comment using the chat function in Zoom during the Q&A session. I'm pleased to introduce our distinguished panelists. Lisa Brackett is an account executive for the SAFER Foundation's SAFER Demand Skills Collaborative. The SAFER Foundation is a not-for-profit that provides social services and employment opportunities for people who have been overlooked and those with arrest and conviction records. Lisa will speak about the employment and apprenticeship opportunities offered by the foundation. Craig Schmidt is the Vice President of Talent Development for the Calumet Area Industrial Commission, which is an apprenticeship intermediary with the state of Illinois. Craig will be speaking about the role of an intermediary and share his organization's experience with apprenticeship programs. Lastly, I will be providing an overview of the apprenticeship programs in Illinois. As I mentioned earlier, I am the Associate Director of Manufacturing Programs for the Institute for Workforce Education, a division of St. Augustine College, and an apprenticeship navigator for Region 4 in the Northeastern Illinois area for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, which provides support for this webinar and other apprenticeship informational initiatives. As I mentioned earlier, after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session. Participants will be able to make comments or ask questions using the chat function in Zoom during the presentation and the Q&A session. If we do not get to your question or comment, we will contact you after the webinar to provide information. First, a bit of information about St. Augustine College. St. Augustine College is an accredited, independent, not-for-profit college with 4 locations in Chicago, 1 in Aurora, and it offers associate and bachelor's degrees, and it's committed to promoting success through education. The Institute for Workforce Education, a division of St. Augustine College, is the leading provider of dual language workforce development services in Illinois. It provides customized on-site training to businesses and not-for-profits and facilitates access to local, state, and federal grants. Employer Training Investment Program, ETIP. St. Augustine College recently partnered with the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce as a pre-qualified workforce training provider for the Chamber's Employer Training Investment Program, ETIP, which reimbursed up to 50% of the cost of retraining and upskilling full-time employees at eligible companies and organizations. The ETIP is designed to assist Illinois employers in providing training to full-time employees, thus increasing capacity, building a stronger workforce, and creating more of a competitive business climate in Illinois. I'm available to provide more information on this program, which is also funded by the state of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities. I will begin the presentation on apprenticeship programs in Illinois with my role as an apprenticeship navigator with the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The Illinois Apprenticeship Program has been around for 2 years, starting at Cook Southland in 2019, now in 2021, in the Economic Development Region 4. As an apprenticeship navigator, I'm available to help you start a program free of charge. We serve as key points of contact and assist partners throughout the process, from concept to implementation. We support existing or foster new partnerships. The objective of the Apprenticeship Navigators is to expand employer and intermediary program sponsorship in existing and new occupational areas within the region. Lisa Brackett and Craig Schmidt will expand on the role of intermediaries which can provide technical assistance and support throughout the whole apprenticeship process. I work as a co-navigator with Kunji Cooler from the Cook County Bureau of Economic Development for the Northeast Economic Development Region 4, which includes the counties of Cook, DeKalb, DuPage, Grundy, Kane, Kankakee, Kendall, Lake, McHenry, and Will. For those who are not familiar with apprenticeship programs, apprenticeship is an industry-driven workforce to meet employers' talent needs and to help individuals to connect to career paths for many different occupations. It is a work-based learning model, commonly referred to as learn and earn model, where on-the-job training is combined with relevant classroom instruction. There are various types of apprenticeships, including youth apprenticeships, which are generally paid apprenticeships for high school students, free apprenticeships, which serve as a bridge program into apprenticeship, registered apprenticeships, which are vetted by the U.S. Department of Labor, non-registered apprenticeships, which are not registered by the U.S. Department of Labor. Here are some key components of registered apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are jobs. Apprentices earn a competitive wage from their employer during training. Programs provide structured on-the-job learning to prepare for a successful career. Apprentices are provided classroom instruction on critical aspects of their careers. Apprentices receive on-the-job learning under the instruction of an experienced mentor. Apprentices earn a portable and national recognized credential. Some of the key facts about apprenticeships. Apprenticeships can take from 1 to 5 years. They can be time-based, competency-based, or hybrid. The training and educational delivery, as well as the length of the program, can be customized. Participants can get credit for previous experience. Assistance is available to plan and implement existing and new apprenticeships. Pre-apprenticeship programs that serve as a bridge to apprenticeship programs. Youth apprenticeships are programs for individuals generally between the ages of 16 and 24, in school or out of school youth. Additional benefits to employers include building a pipeline of skilled workers. It's an opportunity to fill challenging vacancies and maintain institutional knowledge when soon-to-be retired workers serve as instructors or mentors to new workers. Training apprentices can help a company accommodate an aging workforce. Gain workers with customized skills. Companies have an opportunity to train workers to meet the Pacific standards using exact pieces of equipment, protocol, procedures that are relevant to the company. Boost retention. Decrease worker turnover due to the cost of fostering a greater worker loyalty. Apprentices are loyal to companies that invest in them. There's an added sense of loyalty between employers and employees. Save money on wages. Since apprentices begin earning about 40 to 50% less than a fully trained employee, businesses can save money on wages by sponsoring an apprentice. Make a positive return on investment. A study found a financial return on investment that averages around $1.47 earned for every dollar spent on apprenticeship programs. Please note that companies may be eligible for new apprenticeship educational tax credits in Illinois. Here are some compelling facts about registered apprenticeship programs. They have a proven record of producing strong results for employees and participants. Apprentices have a lifetime earning advantage of $300,000 versus other similar situations with no apprenticeship training. Completers earn an average of $70,000 per year. Employers get a return on investment of $1.47 for every dollar spent on apprenticeships. And 94% of registered apprentices are employed upon completion of their apprenticeship. Apprentices continue to demonstrate growth. 70% in new apprentices since 2011. Facts, 1.9 million plus apprenticeships since 2011, 38% more apprentices than the previous 10 years, That's an average of 636,000 versus 459 back in 2011. 340,000 plus participants completed an apprenticeship in the last 5 years. 13,500 plus apprenticeship programs created in the last 5 years. Here are some facts about Illinois. We have total programs. We have active apprenticeship programs, 16,783. New apprenticeship programs established in 2020 were 4,144. We have completers of apprenticeship programs, 2,361. Active apprenticeship programs currently active in Illinois, 486. And new programs that were established in 2020, 47. It used to be the most apprenticeship programs were focused on construction and manufacturing, but that has changed. Nowadays, there are apprenticeship programs available across all the sectors of the economy, including health, information technology, transportation, financial services, hospitality, energy, communications, and other professional sectors. Next, I would like to show a short video that highlights the Apprenticeship Illinois framework. Here's some information on how to fund a registered apprenticeship through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. The workforce system that supports the components of a registered apprenticeship program. On-the-job training. On-the-job training learning is funded through the contract, known as OJT, can cover up to one or multiple apprentices. In some circumstances, reimbursement under WIOA has increased from 50 to 75%. Related training and instruction under WIOA in all classroom training is funded through individual training account, known as the ITA. In order to take advantage of the potential funding, programs must be in the state's eligible training provider list. Supportive services, tools, and childcare. WIOA funds can be utilized to provide a range of supportive services for individuals training account-related instructional training. On this slide, I would like to share the following resources and apprenticeship on Illinois.com. You can find tools that can be helpful in learning about starting or participating in an existing apprenticeship program in Illinois. The U.S. Department of Labor though its revamped website, apprenticeship.gov, has various links that can get a quick start toolkit and resources for registered apprenticeship programs and apprenticeship registration site. Our next panelist is Lisa Brackett, an account executive for the Safer Foundation's Safer Demand Skills Collaborative. As I mentioned earlier, the Safer Foundation is a not-for-profit that provides social services and employer opportunities for people who have been overlooked and those with arrest and conviction records. Lisa will speak about the employment and apprenticeship opportunities offered by the foundation. Welcome to the webinar, Lisa. Thank you.
Hi, Lenora. Great to be here. I'm excited to tell you guys all about Safer Foundation. Let's get started. Next slide. So Safer's work, our mission is to support through a full spectrum of efforts with people with arrest and conviction records to become employed and law-abiding members of our community. As a result, to reduce recidivism. So our work is in education, workforce development, transitional jobs, permanent. We have 3 social enterprises, a staffing company, a housing program and wellness center, and a construction company. We also work with advocacy and policy, and we are part of the legislation plans as it pertains to returning citizens. And we also do professional and technical assistance to employers and companies, and then also community corrections. So our footprint is that we have served over 5,000 clients last year with 2,800 job starts. Our clients have retained jobs. 91% have stayed on the job 90 days or more. 83% have stayed 6 months or more. And 75% are still employed after 1 year. We have 8 locations in Illinois and 3 in Iowa, and we have about 300 employees. So we work with people to reduce barriers as they are centered around education, occupational licensing, employment, housing, reducing debt and financial education, voting, and public benefit. Policy and advocacy is a big part. We were instrumental in the healthcare reform bill in allowing people with arrest records to receive their licensing back. So these are some of the bills: the healthcare licensing, the occupational criminal conviction, the healthcare worker registry laws, and the school educator qualification regulations. And all of those are centered around returning citizens being able to work either in a school and obtain licensure, or either in a healthcare facility and obtain a waiver to do that. And we were instrumental in being a part of that in Illinois. Okay. So some of the forms of criminal relief would be expungement, sealing, of course, clemency. So we have been able to help people to get their records sealed and expunged in all areas. So there are several, there are only a few things that now cannot be sealed or expunged, and that would be some violent crimes, DUIs, sex crimes, except for prostitution, and crimes against animals. Everything else has been expanded. We've expanded those offenses to be a part of the sealing and expungement process. So I'm a part, as Lenora mentioned, of the Safer Demand Skills Collaborative. And what we do in the Safer Demand Skills Collaborative is we work with people to put them on a career pathway. And so as a part of that, what we do is employer-driven. We're employer-driven. It's vocational training that obtains an industry recognized credentials. It's very sector specific. And we also like to work with career paths that will have stackable credentials. So we have 6 areas of focus and study that we allow people to be a part of in the collaborative. So healthcare and hospitality, IT and advanced manufacturing, and then my pathway, which is transportation. Next slide, I'm sorry, next slide. Would be transportation, distribution, logistics, and construction trades. And so our programming and training is centered around all of those areas. So we have 3 social enterprises, as I mentioned before. The first one is our Reconstructive Technology Partners, which is a full service, small residential and small commercial projects construction company that is able to hire some of our clients that are part of our construction trades training, and also to be able to be a part of sponsoring them into union level positions. So as a part of that, all of those services, I think now myself and Mr. Carruthers are on there. If you guys have any questions or if you need more information about how you can be a part of some of the services that are offered for you at Safer Foundation, please feel free. That's my contact information on the slide and my director's contact information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. It was a wonderful presentation. It's a wonderful service that you guys are providing to returning citizens, and also for the different individuals that are looking for opportunities in the different sectors that you serve at your organization. Now, let's welcome our next presenter. Rick Schmidt is currently the Vice President of Talent Development at the Calumet Area Industrial Commission. He supports apprenticeship expansion grants from the Department of Labor, as well as an intermediary in Region 4. He has worked in workforce development most of his career in apprenticeship programs for the last 7 years. He's written, implemented, and led millions of dollars of grants over the years focused on recruiting and training individuals in high demand careers in manufacturing, transportation, healthcare, and IT. He will be presenting on his organization's role as an apprenticeship intermediary. Welcome, Craig.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Lenora and St. Augustine College, for inviting the Calumet Area Industrial Commission to talk about our role as an intermediary for the apprenticeship programs with the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. I want to start with just telling you a little bit about the Calumet Area Industrial Commission, or CAIC for short. We have been in existence since 1967. We're a non-for-profit membership-based organization located in the southern tip of the city of Chicago in the Pullman area, right in the hub of the manufacturing industry from metropolitan Chicago to Northwest Indiana. Now, over the years, we've expanded to include many of the south suburbs and even moved into Will County, all of which has a huge manufacturing base. We are an industrial advocacy, economic development, business development, workforce development, and community outreach organization, mainly focused on the manufacturing sector. We provide a number of community resources that are funded under the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, which is funded under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, known as WIOA. We provide services from job readiness training to on-the-job training to job placement for individuals who are unemployed or underemployed, and it's to help them find a sustaining wage and career. As I said, we're a membership manufacturing-based organization, so we provide a number of resources for businesses, from business development incentives to training reimbursement and apprenticeship guidance and development. And certainly a huge value for our members are the networking events and educational workshops that we hold. But as I want to tell you about today is our role as an intermediary. CAIC was awarded an apprenticeship expansion grant from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity with the goal to start, reignite, and grow apprenticeship programs. We play that consultant role to help one get started and guide them through the process. What I'm seeing is most companies have some sort of apprenticeship program in place. It just may need some refining, and we can help submit that to the Illinois Department of Labor to get it registered. The grant that we currently have will pay the education portion of the tuition for anyone in a registered apprenticeship program, whether it's through a community college or other training provider. It can be in any industry. It can be for new or current employees. Some companies use apprenticeships as an onboarding tool, meaning they start as an apprentice the day they start working, and other companies use it as a promotional tool to move individuals up in the company. The goal is for one to be skilled in a certain occupation, such as a welder, a machine operator, or a diesel mechanic. You're training for that occupation. Apprenticeships assist workers also in achieving that journeyman card. And most importantly, you're creating a long-term training solution for your company and gaining commitment from your employees in the process. The goal for this grant is to help you get started, and where, like I said, it will pay the education, but then it is expected that the company will continue financing the program for it to be successful. The time for this grant is now through December, so you don't want to hesitate. So you want to reach out to me quickly about this, so we can help you get started. Also funded through the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, we are a delegate agency that offers the on-the-job training reimbursement. If an employer hires an unemployed or underemployed individual, this grant can reimburse the employer up to 50% of the wages they paid during the training. And it could be, you know, up to 90 to 120 days. It just depends on how long your training is. There are a few requirements, as you can see, but if interested, please reach out. The challenge we have currently is finding candidates, just like all the companies around, but we are certainly putting resources around to improve those numbers. And the way that we are doing it is through our new grant, which I want to tell you just briefly about, is CAIC was awarded $8.9 million from the U.S. Department of Labor, partnering with 10 community colleges in the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana regions to train over 1,100 individuals in a manufacturing career over the next 4 years. We certainly plan on this being a pipeline for the manufacturers in our region, and we're just beginning the recruitment. And you will see more to come on that, but certainly reach out if you want to hear more on how you can participate. I know that was a quick synopsis of what we have going on, but I'm going to send this back over to Lenora. Thank you, and thanks St. Augustine College.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. There's a lot of exciting things that are happening with the apprenticeship, and I would say the Calumet Area Industrial Commission has been a wonderful partner, as well as the Sacred Foundation in establishing apprenticeship programs. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we will now have the Q&A session. Participants can make comments or ask questions using the chat function in Zoom. If we do not get to your question or comment, we will contact you after the webinar to provide information. So let's look at our questions in Zoom, and we're going to go ahead and start talking about some of our participants today. Let me click here. How many employers, this is for just a basic question around the room for Lisa and Craig and myself. How many employees do you need to start an apprenticeship program?
One.
Okay, that's a real.
It does not matter the number, right? It does not matter the number of employees that you have. We have worked with companies that, you know, are starting out with one apprentice, and then there's other companies that are, you know, utilizing 5, 10 or more. So it just depends on your workforce and what you are really looking to accomplish for your organization.
Thanks, Greg. I'm going to send this question over to Lisa. How many apprentices can you have in an apprenticeship program? We already said it could be one, but what's the maximum what you would probably see in an apprenticeship program? Starting out with a company that has never done an apprenticeship program that would like to start one. What's the maximum number of people that can be in one?
Was that for me, Lenora? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You know, it could be around the room. I think for Craig, yourself, what's the maximum you've seen a business or a company put in an apprenticeship program? I know that talking to a company here in Chicago, they put 25 apprentices. Although they were training 100, they did 4 cohorts of 25 people in an apprenticeship program. They're just asking, what's the maximum that you could put into an apprenticeship program? Apprentices.
I think the maximum that we've worked with has been 25. I think it really is up to the employer and what they're able to handle at that time and what the curriculum and the training will accommodate. So for us, it has been 25, and per cohort has been the largest.
And that is correct, and depending on what your company can handle, because you also have to have mentors for your apprentices, and a mentor is typically a supervisor or someone within your company that has 10-year experience, so that they could train the apprentices. And the Department of Labor usually recommends anywhere between a mentor should have maybe 3 to 5 individuals max under them that they are providing on-the-job training for.
Thank you. I have a question. This was directed to Lisa. Can you tell me more about the apprenticeship program for transportation and logistics for the Safer Foundation? And how would I be able to enroll in this program? Are there certain, do I need to know math? Do I need to, I don't have my GED. So what do I need to do in getting one of these programs? And I am an offender.
Okay, so great. So for all of our programs that are advanced training, you do need to be working on your GED or high school diploma. That's the first thing. Once you are in a high school diploma or GED or high stat program, then we can talk about the apprenticeship program, but it's usually high school diploma, 18 years of age, be justice involved. And so what justice involved means is just having an arrest record or have some involvement in the justice system. And so if you have those things, that's the start of being an apprentice. For our transportation program, you do have to have a valid driver's license. It needs to be more than 1 year. You need to have had it for more than 1 year, even if it meant you had it back in the 90s, you lost it, and now you got it back, as long as you've had it for more than 1 year. And then at that point, you have to be able to read at a 6th grade level because the material is written on there, and obtain your permit. And so we'll work with you to do that. And that's pretty much it. So if you think you're eligible for the transportation apprenticeship, you definitely can give me a call and we'll start. I think my information will be up on was up on the slides, and Lenora can definitely get in touch with me. So and we can get you started. And if you have other questions, the best way is going to be to try to work through them one-on-one. So just, call myself, one of us, to assist you in the registration process.
Thank you, Lisa. We're going to go ahead and put Lisa's information in the chat in the Zoom function, and for participants to go ahead and contact Lisa and the folks at Safer Foundation if you guys have any further questions as well. Now, I have one participant, and this is directed at Lisa as well. Is the Safer Foundation a sponsor of registered apprenticeship programs, or do you refer them to the Office of Apprenticeship, or one, which is a registered apprenticeship program?
So Safer Foundation has a registered pre-apprentice program, and we refer people to registered DOL apprentices. So we are a registered pre-apprentice and we send them to the DOL. We also have a partnership in which we assist people with getting into the union level sponsorships. So it's kind of both. So we do both.
Mm-hmm. Craig, I have a question for you. This is for the Greater Calumet Area Industrial Commission. Can they serve employers throughout Illinois, or it's a certain region area? And what counties can you serve?
So as far as our apprenticeship expansion grant, we can really help employers throughout Illinois, while we do try to focus within our region of the Chicagoland region, especially in the southern tip of the city in Northwest Indiana and southern Chicagoland area. But we can certainly help companies out in other parts of the state. As part of our new grant, U.S. Department of Labor, that is strictly from the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana areas. We do go up to Lake and McHenry counties in Illinois, down to Kankakee County, and then over to Porter and Lake counties in Indiana.
Thank you, Craig. This is another question directed to you, Craig. Has COVID impacted your numbers with apprenticeship programs regarding new apprenticeship programs? So this is sort of like, with what we went through the COVID in 2020, as well as into 2021, has the COVID environment impacted the commission's helping companies create new apprenticeship programs?
Well, as I mentioned, we are focused on manufacturing, and manufacturing was not hit as hard by COVID as many of the other industries were. Manufacturing was considered an essential job. So so manufacturers really they kind of boomed in many of them did boomed in the area of during COVID. So no, I would say I in the manufacturing sector, absolutely not. In other industry sectors, maybe such as hospitality industry, that was certainly impacted. Healthcare obviously was not. But I think for example, in the healthcare industry, they were focused on the COVID versus focused on employee growth. So I hope that answers your questions. But again, manufacturers really, they were not impacted. And currently, even now, today, there are many positions open in the manufacturing sector.
I also want to kind of chime in too, Craig, is that for Lisa and Craig is the transportation and logistics as well. And we saw a growth in construction. It did slow down during the COVID in those sectors as well. So as Craig mentioned, we saw hospitality and culinary arts programs slow down here in Illinois. I think it's throughout the nation because of businesses not being opened. I have a question. This is for the panelists. If my company is a small business and that wants to implement an apprenticeship program, can I send my employees to an existing program? And can I still receive financial support? So I just kind of direct that to any of our panelists. If you guys want to be able to answer that.
I'm sorry, Lenore, can you repeat that again?
Sure. If my company is small and they want to implement an apprenticeship program, can I send my employees to an existing program, apprenticeship program? Yeah. And can I still receive financial support for my apprenticeship program?
Yes, absolutely. So, an apprenticeship program needs a sponsor. Typically, the sponsor of the program is the company themselves, so they would submit that to the Department of Labor, meaning that when I say they're the sponsor, they're in charge of the program, they're running it, they're leading it. Now, there are organizations, many community colleges are sponsors of registered apprenticeship programs. So as well as like the TMA, Technology and Manufacturing Association they are the sponsors of the program. So that means, yes, you can send your employees to those education providers under their program. And what's good about that when you do that is it takes the onus off of you as the employer, because the college or the organization is submitting the paperwork to the Department of Labor, making sure that your employee is learning in the classroom and then learning on the job, working with your mentors. If you are the company and you're the sponsor, you would need a dedicated individual within your company that's going to so-called manage that apprenticeship program, because you are the sponsor. And then as far as the educational, the financing or the funding, absolutely. So, we work with companies right now that are sending their employees to Joliet Junior College under their sponsored program, and we are paying for that. Then we work with companies that have their own sponsored program, and we are paying for that. So as long as the catch, and I don't want to call it a catch, they do need to be on the Illinois Education Training Provider list to be an eligible training provider, which most colleges are, most organizations are. And it's if one is not, then we can certainly help them get on that list as well.
Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that answer. This is a question also directed to you, Craig. Does CAIC work with non-union employers to establish apprenticeship programs? Can you get set up? Can you set up an apprenticeship program for employees of not-for-profit community-based organizations?
So yes, we work with a number of employers that either have unions or don't have unions. The Department of Labor does require that if the company does have a union, that either one, that they are an active participant in the program and that they are aware. Otherwise, if they are not, they can certainly sign off the apprenticeship program that says, you know, while we are not necessarily a part of the apprenticeship program, we do agree and support the company in doing this. Most companies that have unions usually follow the union scale and as such, and most unions are supportive and involved in the apprenticeship program. And as far as setting up for a nonprofit community-based organization, absolutely. One thing we have to remember, you are training for an occupation, meaning you have a job and you want somebody to become skilled in that specific job. And so you're going to outline what are the education requirements and what are the on-the-job training requirements that's going to make that individual an expert in that occupation.
Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. Thinking about, as we talk about not-for-profits, there are some, we think about not traditional ones like construction. For not-for-profits, there are careers that people want to expand for and occupations that they want to expand that because they have shortages for those particular organizations. So as I'm looking through the chat, it looks like we don't have any more questions for today. This concludes our webinar. I would like to thank Lisa, and I also would like to thank Craig for their wonderful presentations this morning. Again, this concludes our presentation for today. My contact information is on the screen for everyone that needs further information or assistance setting up and supporting an apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship program. I'm also available to meet, whether in person or virtually, to discuss apprenticeship opportunities and needs that your company may have. Please note that we will hold an additional apprenticeship webinar June 30th. You can check it out on our website, IWEtraining.com, for more information. To register for that webinar and to view the recording of this webinar, which will be posted in a couple of days, I also will be sending out all participants and panelists a direct link to view the recording of this webinar. Again, a big thanks to our panelists, participants, and have a wonderful week. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you.